Welcome to Circle of Hearts Radio. Journey with Grandmother Alaya as she enters her magical world of relics, sacred sites, and ancient crystal skulls. Meet with exciting trailblazer authors and individuals shifting the consciousness of humanity. Send her your questions to be answered on air on her monthly segment, Ask the Oracle. And now your host, Grandmother Alaya, in the sanctuary on the airwaves on OMTimes Radio.
Welcome to Circle of Hearts Radio. I am Laia, your host for this hour. Now, I am noticing that Skype is skipping a little, but we're going, maybe, sometimes that has to do with the energies, and we'll do the best that we can with this, so please stay with me. Because there's something, in October, when I set up this particular subject. October is the month that we recognize the ancestors, and the veils between dimensions are thinner. And I thought it would be a good time to talk about the crystal skulls and a lot of the personal relics that I have, for you to really discover maybe a little bit more about me. I do not often take a show for myself because I find a lot of people that I have crossed paths with, they have such wonderful information to come out that, I rather put that up front. But now it's time to step out further. Now, one thing that's interesting, when they say always be careful what you wish for, this is very true. In the beginning of October, I'm just very overwhelmed with life. And I had thought, I need time to myself. Well, the universe decided to play this interesting joke on me of letting me get sick. And it says, okay, now we're going to put you, give you some definite downtime. So I think you can hear it in my voice. I'm still recovering from this, so please bear with me. In the downtime, though, it has given me a lot of time to think, because basically with this energetic flu and, pretty much being on, having to just sit and not being able to do anything else because of, extreme fatigue, etc. I did really quite a life's reevaluation, as many people are doing now. And it is time to really, if I'm going to be authentic, and for you to have, to appreciate the information that's brought forth and the people that share their authentic information, I have to step out a little bit further. So in doing so, I'm going to give you a little bit of my journey. Some people know parts of it. And, there'll be other parts that, will be brought out. And as we go on, then I'm going to talk about the crystal skulls, what they are not, and the relationship to the dragon energies. Now, not many people see that correlation, but it's time to bring these things out. And then we'll go into maybe the Jopa stones, another interesting power crystal, power relic, and then into the dragon pearls. I was looking at a book, just to preface all of this before I start, going into more personal details. A few years ago, Dr. John DeSalvo got in touch with me, and I helped collaborate on some of the information on his book, Power Crystal, Spiritual and Magical Practices, the Crystal Skulls, and other, power stones. And I thought, wow, because I've kept so much in the background to, have a researcher come and say, okay, I recognize your knowledge. I recognize, the relics that you have. This was a very big step for me in bringing these things out. And in looking at this book by John DeSalvo, and, you might have heard of his name on Ancient Aliens as the research and the Pyramids of Giza, a book he wrote on the Shroud of Turin. He very much goes into bringing forth science and spirituality and bringing them together. So he and I, this was a good combination, because I believe this is the awareness that the world is, coming forth to right now. And more things that we took for granted or we didn't know, all of a sudden, science is getting involved and saying, oh, well, let's look at this, let's combine the intuitive with the science. So he was a very big step for me, actually to be written in print and to have some of the crystal skulls there and the Dropa stone, etc. And this is also part of, stepping out and releasing your past, because for many years, I would say a good 15 years, I was in hiding. But during that in hiding part, it was part of learning for me, of awakening to my own knowledge. And this is the point that I want to bring out strongly, is for people not to be followers. That time's gone. You're all immense beings of light. And, you've come to this earth school to remember. And we're trying to help you do this. But the important thing is, if you follow, if that is part of your soul contract in the beginning, that's fine. Let it be open doors for you. But ultimately, be discerning and start to trust your own information. This has been a very difficult lesson for me. Through the years, I have always placed others' information ahead of me. So bringing forth this now, it's hard. And I think I want to point out in this personal journey is that I don't like labels, but if you had to put a label on it, it would be the wounded warrior, wounded healer. Because I think in this 66 years of life, I have experienced a lot. I came into this incarnation very aware. As a child, nowadays I would be, if I would have been labeled as one of the crystal or the diamond children, being able to see other beings, talking to the animals. It was an amazing connection to the planet, but not fitting in with the family. That was another big lesson. And it's like 60 years later, some years later, actually almost 66 years later, I come across a saying on Facebook that said, if you're born into a world that you don't fit in, it's because you came in to create a new world. And this is true. This is what many of us are doing right now. The misfits of so many years. We're realizing, we do have purpose, and that, it is to help create a new world. This is a major theme of this journey. For people that don't know me, that are starting to listen, I'm going to go briefly because I really want to get into the crystal skulls. Basically, prior to 1999, I lived a very unusual life. As a very aware person, they kept on shutting down. And then it was almost like a spiritual death and then being reborn spiritually. I mean, going back and forth like this. Had spiritual awakening in my 20s, which I thought I was absolutely going crazy, because all of a sudden being able to see things through walls or going through a Kundalini experience, well, that's a whole other story. But it all stemmed into living pretty much basically a normal life. as a single mother raising two, girls on my own, working a lot of jobs. And in 1999, I was diagnosed with a very huge brain tumor. Now, being a nurse, this came as a surprise because I never thought of being sick. But it finally hit me. And, after going to a neurologist, and they said, we don't even know how you're alive. And within a week having surgery. And the experience of death again, coming back into a spiritual purpose. I was saying, okay, you had to make that decision. Okay, are you going to leave, or are you going to get serious and do something about what you came back to do originally that you kept on putting off? Pisces is a great procrastinator, and I think I'm a wonderful expression of being a procrastinator. Even spiritually, this has happened. But it was being reborn almost as an infant, because of all the major nerve damage, having to come forth. But the whole experience brought me, as I'm looking at the time is passing here, into the world of crystals and crystal skulls, which was an amazing soul contract that has happened, and I've learned a lot. And in the next episode, next break, after the next break, we're going to go into the crystal skulls. But more or less, I want you to open your minds to a deeper way of thinking. Forget all the old ideas. They had its purpose. And now let's go forth into something a little bit newer. Okay, we'll be back in a few more minutes.
Bringing you the best of the conscious minds in the world. OMTimes Radio, your conscious lifestyle on steroids. Are you trying to get from point A to point B and need a little advice? Connect with the counselors at OMTimes Advisors. Whether you're looking for a life coach or a spiritual intuitive, the advisors participating at advisors.omtimes.com were carefully chosen based on their gifts, skills, and professionalism. OMTimes Advisors, connecting you with the best advisors in the business.
Welcome to The Gathering Around My Kitchen Table on Equilarium FM, Wednesdays at 1 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. Join my guests as we integrate spirituality into everyday reality with vibrant conversations, inspired interviews, and my latest channeled guidance to inspire and brighten your day. I'm Claire Johnson, and together we'll be raising vibrations across the nations.
Hello, I'm Sandy Sedgbeer, host of the Inspired Parenting radio show, where every week we bring you empowering information from the diverse fields of conscious parenting, education, neuroscience, consciousness, health, and metaphysics to support you in nurturing the best in your children. So if you're interested in understanding what shapes your children's minds, spirits, and hearts, join me every Thursday at 4 p.m. Pacific Time, 7 p.m. Eastern Time, and prepare to be inspired.
Host your show on IOM FM, the radio network of OMTimes Media, one of the more recognized brand names in the conscious community, and is backed by the extensive marketing reach of OMTimes. Hosting a show on IOM FM immediately connects you with our extensive dedicated community. Free your mind. Expand your soul. OMTimes Radio. IOM FM.
Well, we're back with me. I usually introduce my guests, but today I'm my own guest. I have a lot of paperwork with me, to keep me a little bit focused today, because like I said, taking medications, really can unfocus my already unfocused mind. But anyway, we had gone to bring you up to the point of many different points of my journey. There's highlighting different points. Pretty much just to say that I've experienced a lot. Maybe that's my credentials, that I've walked the path of many of you in life. I've experienced awareness, I've experienced spirituality, I've experienced near death, I've experienced walk-in, I've experienced health, I've experienced a great multitude of things. But that's not really what's important. What's important is for people to feel free to become empowered with themselves, to realize the information that's within them is what's important, not so much of the past, of what was. That had its purpose, but now we're in a different cycle. Now it's a cycle of being aware of your own knowledge. And this has to do a lot with the crystal skulls. I never myself, when I got involved in it many years ago, and that's because it was pretty much just handed to me. It's not something I looked for. It's not something I searched for. It was, okay, all of a sudden, here it is. Many people have searched for things that I have physically here in this dimension. I didn't. And the process of having them totally amazes me, and I've learned a great deal of respect for them. My whole point in bringing this out with the Crystal Skull community, which I have a lot of respect for the people that started it. And, because we've all learned from them. So I don't want anyone to think there's anything to do with judgments, because it's not. This is just from a lot of my own perspective. I'd like to see it go in a deeper direction, because many people right now, like I said, I did not realize the millions of people that are into crystal skulls. It is a huge business. And what bothers me is a lot of times the people that are drawn to them or the crystal information, and they go, okay, I have to have it. And then it's, okay, what do I do with it? Like I said, there's a purpose in everything, and there's a purpose in all the teachings that have been there. But now we're at the point of, let's find out what the information that's within you, and take it from there and expand on it, because everything is energy. The crystal skulls are energy. You are energy. And sometimes I'll make a mention of a name, purely because I know that these people are so heart-centered. They don't even know that I may bring forth, but, I do believe they need certain recognition. Other people that have shared their lives with the crystal skulls, this is no judgment on them. I just look for the people that are doing things to totally empower other people. So, please don't take this wrong. My own journey with the crystal skulls and the information that was out there, just like everybody else that starts with, like interested in a crystal skull and is drawn to it, but they don't know anything about it. So of course you look for information, you go to groups. The crystal skulls, even it mentioned in John DeSalvo's book, which I work, collaborate with him. Power crystals. Look through history. The crystal skulls were something that were used by shamans, were used by alchemists. They were used for scrying. The power symbols, which always denoted some people were more important than others because they had this power stone they knew more. And that's not necessarily where we are today. We are finding out that the crystal skulls are a timeless light consciousness. The word timeless, for the crystal skulls. Actually, that was brought to attention by a good friend of mine, Heather Robb. She's in Australia, and she did a reading for me about crystal skulls on one of mine, and she goes, they want to be known as the timeless crystal skulls because there's no age to light energy. That it's a constant, it's a vessel. The crystal skulls are a vessel. They're a thought form that we are comfortable with. These are symbolic of knowledge. They hold the knowledge. The crystal information holds the akasha of the stars, of the earth itself. That it was brought forth and it was seeded into the earth, during Gaia's creational days. It was another layer that was added to it. And I had a channel in 2010 that, I was guided to put out. And I was looking at this. And this makes a lot of sense to me. So, just open your minds. It goes, in the early time of creation, before Lemuria, the land of the mother, like stardust gathering from the many places beyond, we landed upon the blue planet with our intention to fully experience her. Again, you have the idea of Gaia being an earth school. We became the priest and the priestesses. Can you imagine all these little light orbs from source, facets of source coming to the planet through other time portals of other stars and galaxies to experience? So as we became the priests and priestesses, our purpose was to rid the layer of spirituality on this planet. We created with light and sound, and we created thought form light orbs, which contain crystalline libraries of all the planetary sacred harmonics and tones. We are the crystalline libraries, and they are us. This is what a crystal skull is. In our journey through this early time of planetary creation, we recorded an experience, a myriad of different energies. As the foreseen vibrational shift for the epic of the land of Lemuria emerged, we traveled through another dimensional portal that was later known as Atlantis. We maintained continuity in our sacred work. Our manifest forms became denser as we incorporated the increasingly slower planetary vibrations in our experience. The orbs of light, we remained as open channels for the energies and awareness from our galactic homes. As orbs of light, we remained connected to all things. Then we saw another energy shift coming, and we knew we needed to time shift again. We thus sounded our sacred tone and gathered as a soul consciousness. We then prepared to time shift again. We recognized the needed permanent structure for our light orbs that contained the sacred libraries. Crystalline consciousness was employed and was encoded thought forms representing the different sound and the different color rays. Then, as many of us physically began other adventures of experience on our blue planet. Can you see this journey? And this is what it emerges to, a denser light orb, a denser form that contained the akasha from the stars, from the galaxies, from source, from the planet, from the dragons, energy. This is what crystal skulls are. And it's an important thing when you're working with them to take this seriously. If you're drawn to them, realize this is part of your soul contract. Realize that it is time for you to become spiritually aware. And these crystalline thought forms, orbs, libraries, are energy tools to help you retrieve the many facets of yourself. Pointed the whole thing about, again, I'm looking, wow, we're almost to the next break with the crystal skulls, is to follow your heart in it. To learn what you can from others, yes, share what you can with others, but do not at all be led blindly by others. These are personal facilitators of your spiritual experience. And look at it as that, and realize when you're dealing and working with energies, or you're making grids, follow what is inside of you, your creativity. Ask questions. And find people that you relate to. There's on Facebook, there's a group, Wisdom of the Skulls, created by two people I have a lot of respect for, Sharon Pitt and Judith Colson. And they have followed my idea of sharing, that everybody has information within them. And they have created a group like this. So please consider, if you're interested in the crystal skulls, join with others who are open to sharing their own heart's wisdom. And when we come back, I think maybe we'll talk about the Dropa stones.
Bringing you the best of the conscious minds in the world. OMTimes Radio, your conscious lifestyle on steroids. Simone Milasas would like you to know that business can be fun, which is why she wrote the book, Joy of Business. What if you could have the joy of business rather than the stress and struggle? Most of the time, the only thing stopping you from a thriving business is you. In the Joy of Business book, Simone gives you access consciousness tools and pragmatic ways to get out of your own way and to create the business, life, and living you know is possible and beyond what this reality says is achievable. Business is joy. It's creation. It's generative. It can be the adventure of living. You can purchase your copy of the book through Amazon or Joy of Business website, www.accessjoyofbusiness.com.
Greetings, fellow soul travelers. This is Dr. Amelia Kemp with OMTimes Radio. If you've been stressed mentally or emotionally, then join me on Sundays at 7 p.m. Eastern Standard Time for the From Psychotherapy to Sacred Therapy show, where you'll learn you're not sick, you're sacred. And by aligning with the soul is what makes you whole.
Come heal yourself. What is healing? Healing is nothing but connecting to your all-knowing higher self that already has solutions to all your problems and is always there to guide you. Through this show, we help you to connect with that you are and help you realize the innate potential you have to heal every aspect of your life. So come heal yourself every Tuesday, 11 a.m. Eastern, with your host, Monica Goyal. Namaste.
Being a radio host on IOM-FM allows you to build your show on a rich platform with the power of the internet to fulfill your outreach goals and connect with a very specialized and global online audience, unlimited by time and distance. OMTimes Radio will provide you with web relevance, a recognizable conscious brand, and with the standard of excellence that has accompanied every single OMTimes endeavor. Host your show with OMTimes Radio Network. Free your mind. Expand your soul. OMTimes Radio, IOM FM.
Well, we're back again, and I'm finding there's so much information, and even in my own shows, it goes quickly. So I'm trying to get in as much as I can, just a little bit before I start about the Dropa stone. It's all interrelated, I'm finding, all the energy tools, all the power stones that I have all connect to each other. So, but one thing about the crystal stones, the crystal skulls, is, again, I ask you to be discerning. And if you get involved with them, find people that align with you in your heart and bring forth information that feels right to you. Again, don't ever be a follower. So many people, I was concerned with the word, you hear a lot about activations. You know, a lot of people feel, okay, this, if I go and I am, activated by certain skulls or something, I'm going to become all knowledgeable. Or sometimes I really don't know what, people expect. With the crystal, a lot of them very important crystal skulls, like Max, that is caretaken by Joanne Parks. And, this woman has spent her life serving people. I don't think people realize how much of her life is given to this, of being the physical carrier of Max to different parts of the country so that he can open up, so many people. This is an important task, and, I really value her service, to people. She's a beautiful-hearted person, and her own journey in this is very important. And Max is very well known. And when people are or bring their stones to be activated by Max, I think the whole point is that they realize that he is a facilitator. He brings up your energy. He realigns your energy. He opens up your chakras. And the point is after you leave this energy or this activation, which you're raised up to a higher vibrational level, do something with it. Don't just, there's some people that say, okay, I've done it, I feel good, and now I'll go back to my, daily life. The activation remains in you, but this is the time in this world that you need to be consciously focusing on your own spiritual path. And if you're given a key, an activation through this wonderful crystal timeless being called Max, follow up and do things with it. And there's other people that are there's many caretakers in the world that are doing these services that aren't so open, because their service is for humanity. I have my friend Liz Hamilton in Australia with her husband Patrick. They have a beautiful healing center. She's more stepping out into her own, but I want her to be recognized. She has a huge family of crystal beings that are bringing enlightenment, even light energy, to our southern hemisphere. So there's, like I said, I'm not going to get into many people, but I'd at least like to recognize these people. And many of the new people coming out with books about crystals, Nicholas Pearson and a friend, Christy Hugs, they don't ask for this recognition. I just see that their information is coming from the heart, and it's coming with a beautiful purpose. This is why I, present it out there. And for you to be discerning and to decide what is good for you and to recognize your own knowledge. Now, having briefly gone into the crystal skulls, there's so much, to go into it, but I just want to touch upon different things that are here and actually do exist. And one of them is the elusive Drupa stone, one of the original articles that people felt that was left by aliens in the mountains of China. And as with everything else, there are so many skeptics. But the thing is, when you hold the piece, which is a stone that looks like a disc, with the center, another center circle in the middle, you can't deny that this is something. This is not man-made. It's made of the materials that would be found in the mountains of China. Actually, there's some jade and there's some cobalt and there's some granite. And for the longest time, I've had this piece for 15 years. When I held it, I would feel a vibration. I would feel a buzzing. It was only until the latter years that I finally raised my own vibration up a little bit that I am able to see the story that it tells. I recognize this article as a go-between. It is something that actually existed. It's actually, I have here some of my notes on it. Like I said, this cold is doing me in. So bear with me as we talk about the Drupa stone. When I first was able to get a response from it, it looks like a disc, and it has a patina over it, but parts of it was worn down. The patina is sort of like a covering from something that's been buried for a long time. And when parts of it has been worn away, and in these parts you see these cobalt blue dots, the raised dots. So when I would run my fingers over it, it would feel like a braille. I wasn't attuned or open enough to it, to actually see that much of it, except you would hear a humming or feel a vibration, and you knew there was something in there, but I couldn't pick it out quite until recently. I would say in the beginning of the year, I sat with the disc, and this is where I was first taken to a mountain, damp and cold, snow and many trees. I heard that there was a craft party of 6 scientists, healers, and botanists that came together to help seed knowledge. The craft's projection was diverted by a contact with an asteroid in the upper layers that caused something of a magnetic field to change, and it crashed. They were from a system that we call the elongated skull's appearance beyond the solar sun. Only 3 of the 6 made it. The atmosphere was difficult for them. They were aided by humanoids in the area, and the Hans are the resulting of the hybrid ancestors. The discs were created from the elements they found in the area to be what we are familiar with as a DVD in our knowledge. They were created and left as time capsules. Imagine if you were able to place these discs in a projector. What I had come to think is when you looked at Star Trek or something and Princess Leia placing this disc in R2-D2, and all of a sudden you have this holographic story being told. this is what the disc showed me. Now, where in the world did that come from? This is what I do. These are pieces, and this is the psychometry of working with the disc, what it has shown me. So I'm at a point of, well, this is the only message I have from it now. But there will be more to come in time. But again, it's a matter as I raise up my vibration where I can be aligned with it so I can see and understand it. So there's many relics. I mean, I am not a person that originally, if you talked about aliens, I would go, oh, no. This is not for me. But ancient China, which I'm very drawn to, there is many, many shamanic pieces that show they used to use jade to carve what they saw. And I have a few beings, carved jade beings, which are very alien-like. So this is what people saw. So we're at a point in history now that we're accepting. We're not saying, well, this is some kind of crazy imagination or they were hallucinating. These are the pieces of history, and this is part of my own journey with with the I'm sorry, I just haven't taken the time here, with many of these relics. Now, as I see time is really flying by, I really, really want to get into dragons. I'm going to have to start that, but that's definitely, I'm going to see what I can get into, something about the dragon energy.
Bringing you the best of the conscious minds in the world. OMTimes Radio, your conscious lifestyle on steroids. As difficult as it is to believe, there are places in Africa where human traffickers sell albino children and their body parts for use in magic rituals. Humanity Healing International is actively working in Uganda to change this paradigm. The Albino Rescue Project finds albino children who are at risk and places them in safe schools and environments where they can learn and grow free from fear. To learn more or to sponsor a child, visit humanityhealing.org. Humanity Healing is where your heart is.
Looking for inspiration?
Want to be inspired?
Not sure where to go?
Find Mark and Kim every Wednesdays at 3 p.m. Eastern on Inspired Living.
Topics will elevate consciousness and range from metaphysics to the human and social experience and all things spiritual.
Welcome to an inspired community that offers support, encouragement, and new ways of thinking. You are the inspired and the inspiration.
This is Terry Van Horn, and I want to invite you to join me for my weekly radio show, Hailing Light, on OMTimes Radio, every Wednesday at 6 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. On Hailing Light, we want to bring love, light, and blessings into your world. You can find out more about us at www.healinglightonline.com. Blessings.
Host your show on IOM-FM, the radio network of OMTimes Media, one of the more recognized brand names in the conscious community, and is backed by the extensive marketing reach of OMTimes. Hosting a show on IOM-FM immediately connects you with our extensive dedicated community. Free your mind. Expand your soul. OMTimes Radio. IOM-FM.
Oh, so much to get in such a short time. Do you believe in dragons? I do. I've seen and loved dragons since a child and have accepted them, but as an adult, I often wondered, was this all fantasy? And then as you study ancient history, dragons are part of many, many cultures. Now trying to, I was looking this week, how would I describe dragons to you? The only thing I can say, if you're totally drawn by them, you're part of this energy, as is you are able to connect with the dragon aspects of yourself, the crystal skulls. I just want to bring out that point. I came across this one blog called Dragon Dreaming, and because we're a little short on time, I'd like just to read this to you because I think it covers a lot. The dragon people are ancestors and ancient ones who established the earth as a livable space for us and many other star-seed beings and lineages to play in and grow, have held the energy and been the guardians of earth. They love being in the volcanoes and the mountains around earth, as in the waterways and the jungles, in the landscape in some places that can be full of them. They are wise, loving, and are dimensional aspects of ourself. Now, as we move out of the fear-based old paradigm where the dragons stay hidden to but a few who understand and resonate with the dimensional worlds, to now where almost every child knows and loves dragons and every adult has heard of them, whether they believe in them or not, is not of matter to the dragons. To some of us, they still mean a great deal as our dear friends, guardians, and wisdom keepers of the landscape and the earth, as well as the doorways to the stars. The guardians of portals, the guardians of vortexes. They are the earth guardians, our protectors. The dragons are multidimensional and have existed in the inner earth, higher dimensional space. As we make this great shift of consciousness and cycle, the dragons are graduating also, and just as we are in all life. Many are returning to their higher dimensional homes on Draco, Wego, Altair. Now they wish for humanity to take on the mantle of guardianship in Earth and the sacred vortexes and the dimensional doorways and the dragon layers, which are crossover points on the crystalline grid, also called dragon pulses. We are now becoming crystalline bodies from carbon base, and so can now hold the resonance and the balance of the earth within us, as we are one with the earth, and our energy fields are reflecting this as the crystalline light matrix and the diamond light matrix are linked, assisting with raising of consciousness. We awaken not only to this crystalline light within us, but to the many faceted beings of light that we are. Many dragons have left their old posts, and they ask us to now become the new earth guardians. I think this whole thing about dragons is to realize they are real. And as our eyes open, as the pineal gland opens, as we transform from this ascension process and we see many different things, we are to release the fear-based lore of the dragons and to realize they are co-manifestors, that they're handing over their knowledge to us, for we are to become the earth guardians. And as they open many, and they guard many, many sacred portals and vortexes, they are becoming known to us. And we become known to us because they call out to us, and, it's a contract. We find them, and now we need to be responsible for this vortex. And they will always be filled with dragon energy because The dragon energy is part of yourself. So it's time for this awareness. I also want to bring out the thing you've many times of another power stone called dragon pearls. These exist. They're in different countries are used for magic. But the dragon pearls that I have from China aren't created by man. They are a very interesting substance. They're almost a plant-like consistency that glow when it's dark. And what do we use them for? You become aware of and possess dragon pearls when you're ready for the responsibility of using them in clearing blockages and in healing the meridians of our own light bodies. So they're not something to be dismissed. Many people claim, I have these, I have that, or I have these crystal skulls. The whole point of discussing in this hour is to let you know you need to start taking responsibility for the energy that you work with. I've only touched upon so many things lightly because the hour did go quickly. Now, I have a few minutes before I end. I want to bring up OMTimes. This is part of my journey, actually my soul journey. Never in my life did I ever figure that, I'd be involved with an organization of such great service. I'd like to call the creators of the OMTimes organization, the media, the umbrella, Humanity Heals, and of this internet media. So sometimes I was thinking last night, laughingly, like the Wizard of Oz, they're in their sacred area and they create all these projects, and for what? Pure service to humanity. And it came for me to even just look up at the name Om and what it means. And it goes, sounding the tone of Om creates a vibrational frequency in the harmony of the body. The sound of Om is the sound of creation and symbolizes the infinite. It connects the inner world to the outer world and beyond. It aligns our energy and creates a feeling of openness and expansion. Traditionally spelled Om, it is pronounced Om, allowing the sound of each symbol. Basically, the ever-present Om is the pulse of the universe and the source of our beings. Now, isn't this perfect? They created a space. They created something that's available to all, for people to share their knowledge, for you to be able to take freely of what you need for your own personal expansion. I'm very honored to be on Om. And in the last few minutes that I have here, I'd like to share something with you from part of John Lennon's song, Imagine. You may say that I am a dreamer, but I'm not the only one. I hope someday you'll join us and the world will become as one. When two or more are gathered in the intention and the heart, the universe will lift them to a place of miracles made manifest. When a person of wisdom gives others his truths and secrets, a new lattice of light is created, and we enter this auspicious time we have waited so long. And you should congratulate yourselves on the courage it took to reach this point. There are so many labels applied to this process. The newest one is spiritual warriors. And considering the difficult years we've experienced, I think you've each earned the right to use this label. This past was many years of facing fears and seeing them for what they are and detaching and releasing. Times of great inner growth and discovery of who you are and what purpose you have incarnated for. This is the process that is still continuing and many questions unanswered. All will be revealed in divine time. And collectively, as a community of souls together, the time and times of support when needed offer. I add this channel to the thing of OMTimes because this is what it is. We are a community. Information is being offered from the heart for the transformation of the world. It is also offered as a service from the heart, as a service from the spirit. Take advantage of things. Enjoy what is, investigate, become part of, and take that first step on your spiritual path and become aware of the beautiful beings that you are. So until next week, which we'll have Chris done with us, I thank you for bearing with me in my cold, and many blessings. Thank you for listening.